Elon Musk was lambasted for doing what Mary Barra just tried to do. Now Mary Barra is apologizing to General Motors employees just for telling them to come back to work. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. Thanks for supporting us on Patreon. I'll put a link in the description below. If you want to jump on and support us, that would be unreal. Now, thank you for subscribing to the channel. There's been a lot of new subscribers come on board the channel lately. For those of you who are new, I'll give you a little bit of background here. Elon, the great dictator of the world, according to the critics anyway, said to Tesla employees they need to come back into work. Basically, he was saying output was lower and managers can work better in the office where they can manage staff. So therefore, he said to Tesla employees, they needed to come back to work. Now, there was a lot of kickback on this. There was massive criticism of Musk. A lot of people called him like a Russian-style Vladimir Putin dictator, and much worse than that. That was one of the understated things that was said. I've read a lot ruder and crazier things than that. The key point here, though, was that Mary Barra was very quiet at the time, and she affirmed that GM employees could continue to work from home. Well, she changed her mind a few days ago, saying that GM's employees need to come back into the office 3 out of every 5 days in a work week, or 60% of their work hours. Those, of course, that weren't on the production lines I'm talking about here. Well, the interesting thing is Mary Barra has now gone back on that. So she's doing a bit of a flip-flop here, and it's kind of amusing to watch this all play out. So now GM has tried to appease staff by saying it's rolling back on its decision. The decision was reportedly made amidst criticisms from company employees, most of which got used to working from home and don't want to go back into the office. Now, I personally think that it's not a good long-term strategy for people to work from home, but that's my opinion. Some people agree, some people disagree. Depends on who you are. Different things work for different people, right? GM's return to office plan was outlined in a memo last week. According to the plan, employees must be physically present at the workplace 3 out of every 5 days. So, I mean, if you work 3 days a week, then 2 out of every 3 days, you need to be in the office. Employees who transition to working remotely some or all of the time during the pandemic will pivot to a more regular in-person work cycle. They will now be expected to work 3 days on campus each week, GM spokesperson Maria Barra said. Well, within the space of 48 hours, I kid you not, GM executives walked back on their plan, with the veteran automaker stating it would not be implementing the initiative until some point in the first 3 months of 2023 at the absolute earliest, but maybe later. Depends on, how we feel at the time. More importantly, the veteran automaker issued an apology to its employees for asking them to work. Yeah, I find this a bit weird, personally, but maybe I'm crazy. Let me know what you think in the comments. I really would be keen to hear what you have to say on this one. Now, we acknowledged that the timing of the message late on a Friday afternoon was unfortunate, said General Motors. It was also unintentional, Mary Barra wrote in a memo obtained by the Post. The memo further highlighted that GM executives would not be dictating which days of the week its employees will be working in the office. I find it interesting to hear that they've repeated my words when I said Mary Barra has become a dictator by telling her staff to come back to work. Now, I think Mary Barra should have watched the video I made because I was joking. I mean, obviously, she's not a dictator by asking people to come back to work 60% of the time. If that's what works for GM, and that's how the company can make money for its investors who basically own the company, then yeah, I think it's pretty fair. Anyway, she said, our plan was always, and still is, to collaboratively design the solution that best balances the needs of the enterprise with the needs of each of you. The solution will include a more regular in-person presence, the CEO added. So Teslarati says that the initial reports of the automaker's return to office initiative received strong reactions from GM employees. They got very angry. A salaried employee from the automaker who spoke to the Detroit Free Press said they were quite surprised when the return to office policy was announced last week. Their feelings were hurt that it was announced on a Friday. I mean, this was just terrible news. They ruined the weekend. You can probably imagine what the general mood is. The company has been talking a good game about work appropriately since this all began, and we were completely blindsided by this news, the employee said. In a statement, a GM spokesperson confirmed that the company's return to office initiative had indeed been pushed back. We understand our employees have concerns and are committed to maintaining flexibility to ensure they can attend to personal commitments. As we implement this change, we are listening to employee feedback and will incorporate it into our planning. We will continue to share details with employees as the plans solidify in the coming weeks, Raynell said. Now, the reality is that many jobs in many areas improve when people are present, right? When people can actually have a conversation and manage a team in present, like the auto industry. I think it makes sense. I mean, this is not Microsoft, right? This is General Motors. What do? They make cars. I can't understand how there can be an employee pushed back, how they're all crying their eyes out. You know what? Sorry, snowflakes, but you've got a job to do. You work for a company. If you don't want to work for General Motors who make cars, get another job. That's what I think. You know what? People are going to unsubscribe from this channel. I know from me saying this, but frankly, I'm sick of this whole new generation just saying we don't need to work hard. We can just take it easy. And when our boss says we got to come to work, then we can have a cry about it and we can just get out of having to come to work. You know what? Start your own business. Start a YouTube channel. Realize how many hours a week you need to actually work, how hard that is, how much you need to put in. And then I think you'll have some appreciation for the reality that comes down to it. Your business is a business. It exists based on economics. It exists because your company can make a profit. Now, GM right now is in a position where they're in a huge disrupted industry. Their industry is being disrupted right now. If their employees don't want to go to work, thereby reducing their efficiency and the amount of money that General Motors can make, there's a good chance GM will go bankrupt or have to be government motors all over again and be bankrolled out of this situation. As I've said on this channel a number of times, looked at the economics of the company, looked at the reality of their claims of being all EV by the time, 2030, they say 2035, but you see the point, right? GM is in a precarious situation. They need to invest tens of billions of dollars. They're saying, where are they going to get all this money to invest in all their transition they're doing, right? The $40 to $50 billion of investments. Where are they going to get it all? Profits. That's where it's coming from. It's not going to come from money that just comes out of thin air. It's going to come from profits. Anyway, rant over. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. If you unsubscribe, I totally understand. Bye-bye.